Well, good evening, my friends, and welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman out here at my shooting bench doing a little bit of experimenting with a new-to-me rifle in a new-to-me caliber. What I've got here is a sporterized K98 action. This one here has a Pachmayr black walnut stock on it, Timney trigger. It's got a set of low mount loophole rings, and I put this Bushnell 6-power on here. But I've been out here shooting it because I'm really curious about the caliber that this gun is chambered in. What I've got here is a 260 Remington. And for those of you that don't know what the 260 Remington is, it's a cartridge that Remington developed, I think 1997. It's relatively new. I mean, it's compared to other cartridges such as the 270 or the 30-06, it's really new because they've been around for a long time. But what it is a 308 cartridge case that's been necked down to 6.5 millimeters. That's right, just like the 6.5 Creedmoor. Same bullet here, only with a 308 cartridge case. And because the 308 cartridge case is capable of holding a little bit more powder, it shoots slightly faster than the 6.5 Creedmoor, although performance is pretty much on par with that particular caliber. Here I've got a 243, and you can see the difference in the girth of that bullet, just barely. I mean, it's only 0.5 difference there, this being a 6 millimeter and this 6.5, but yet to me it's apparent right here. I can see it. And it's definitely apparent right here, as you can see the 308 as compared to the 243, this being 7.62 or 308, and this 6 millimeter. Big difference. Even against the 6.5, the 308 seems rather large. And you know, if you have a 308, that's a great hunting cartridge. But we're going to try out this 6.5 today. I haven't had this rifle for very long, and I shot it at 100 yards here with two different types of ammunition. I've got some of this Hornady Superformance in a 129 grain SST, and at the muzzle it generates 2,930 feet per second, so nearly 3,000 feet per second with that 129 grain bullet. And then here I've got some Mauser 120 grain E-tip. This is an all copper bullet. There's no lead at all. There's a picture of it on the back. And honestly speaking, the Hornady didn't do too well. I shot 4 shots here at 100 yards. I was sighting it in, and that's the spread I got at 100 yards using that load, which is totally unacceptable. Then I cleaned the barrel, and my first shot using the Mauser was way up here, but then 3 subsequent shots right there printed about a 1-inch group. So that's pretty good performance right there. I've got a set of loading dies for that caliber, and I'll be doing a little bit of experimenting before deer season gets here to see if I can find a really accurate load for that particular gun. But I was really curious to see how well these Mausers would perform at 100 yards. I've got some water jugs set up down there, and we're going to take a shot and see what these Mauser E-tips will do on those water jugs from this distance. So let's give it a try. Okay, we'll get zoomed in down here at 100 yards on those water jugs and take a quick shot just to see what these cartridges will do at this distance. All right, here we go. All right, let's go take a look. Okay, approaching my target here. And I see a couple of water jugs that look like they've been pretty much destroyed. see. Got two over here. Wow. Well, it really came apart. Holy cow. Look at that, folks. There's another one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. I just creased that one there. Have a bullet. I think we got a bullet at the bottom here. There it is. Wow. That's interesting. Well, like I said, it's an all copper bullet. No lead at all, and it peeled completely back right to the bottom of the cavity, and it retained, I'd say, just about all of its weight. So that's pretty cool. Well guys, with performance like this at 100 yards and roughly 1-inch group accuracy, I can realistically take these rounds and this little rifle into the deer woods and harvest a whitetail with it very confidently. You know, because around here 100 yards is pretty much the exception, especially if you're hunting out of a tree stand. You're just not going to see deer that far away here in the woods because there's too much undergrowth, too much brush. Now if you're hunting big timber, or sometimes I'll be overlooking another ridge and I can realistically get 100, maybe 200 yards even, and clearly see a whitetail that far away. And if I want to harvest it, I think I'm pretty well equipped with this little rifle, because at 200 yards this particular load here is still generating 2,394 feet per second with 1,528 foot-pounds of energy. And if I stretch it out to 300 yards, it's still producing 2,227 feet per second at that distance and 1,322 foot-pounds of energy, which is still well within the threshold of being able to harvest a whitetail. And 300 yards, believe me, is a long way. You know, there's not many hunters that I know of that can realistically make that kind of a shot and connect every time. Unless you've got access to a range where you can shoot that far and know what your rifle's doing, you know, you really don't have any business taking a shot that far away, because at 300 yards with a 100-yard zero, that bullet is dropping 13.6 inches, which is enough to completely miss a whitetail if you don't know that it's going to drop that far. So if I didn't have a bullet drop compensator on this rifle, on the scope, I would hold at the top of the shoulder. That way that bullet will drop down right into the boiler room at that distance with a 100-yard zero, which is what we have here. Well guys, since I already own a set of hand-loading dies for the 260 Remington, I'll be doing a little bit more experimenting with that particular caliber, because honestly that's the first 6.5 caliber that I've ever owned. About 2 years ago I had a 6.5 Creedmoor rifle, a Savage rifle. I believe it was an Axis that I featured here on my channel, and the performance was really good out of that rifle. But the 6.5 has been with us for a long time. You know, it's just a fairly old caliber, really. Starting in Second World War, there was the 6.5 Japanese. Right there. This is an old reloading book. This is a Hornady reloading book. There you can see the 6.5 Jap, or Japanese. And it was available in the Arisaka rifle, as many of you are very much familiar with. And then you got the 6.5 Carcano, and then the excellent 6.5 by 54 millimeter Mannlicher Schonauer, which is a sporting cartridge and always has been. Great performance out of that little cartridge. 2,400 feet per second with a 129 grain spire point. And then of course we have the 6.5 by 55 Swedish Mauser right there. Good performance with it as well. 2,600 feet per second with a 129 grain round nose. And then of course we have the 6.5 Remington Magnum, which is now pretty much obsolete, but it had great performance. You know, you got 3,000 feet per second out of a 129 grain spire point. And with a 140 grain, you still got up to 3,000 feet per second. So that's some wonderful performance out of that caliber, or that cartridge. And then you have the 264 Winchester Magnum, which was the big dog in the 6.5 millimeter. And with a 140 grain spire point, it achieved 3,200 feet per second, which is just cooking. I mean, that's a good big game cartridge. Flat shooting and very efficient. But nowadays you have so many more bullets and styles and configurations available to us because of the popularity and the introduction of the 6.5 Creedmoor. And you know, honestly, I don't know why the 260 Remington isn't more popular than it is, because it's a wonderful little package. I mean, you've got a 308 case neck down to a 6.5. I mean, how much more ideal can you get than that? Of course, they make other calibers too, such as the 7mm 08 that's derived from the 308 cartridge. But that's a great combination. You know, if you don't have any 6.5 brass, you can easily neck this down to fit your 6.5 caliber bullets out of a 308 case if you have a set of hand loading dies. And you know, you can make your own, roll your own, so to speak. So it kind of baffles me sometimes when you got a great cartridge like that that comes along and then all of a sudden it just loses its popularity, like that 6.5 Remington Magnum. That's great performance out of that little cartridge, you know, but it just pretty much died on the vine. And I think one of the reasons why the 6.5 Creedmoor has become so popular is because it's very mild-mannered, doesn't have much recoil at all, and it just sounds cool to say, hey, I've got a 6.5 Creedmoor. You know, I mean, that sounds like a super round or something. Just from the sound of it, it just sounds really cool. So I can kind of understand why it became very popular. But given the fact that the 260 Remington is right on par with the performance of the 6.5 Creedmoor, to me it's a little bit puzzling why this caliber right here, or this cartridge, is not more popular than it is, you know. So I don't know, maybe it'll gain popularity again in the future, who knows. Sometimes things just come and go. So with that being said, let me go ahead and close out the video and tell you thank you for coming along. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll keep you updated on any loads that I may come up with or develop for this particular little rifle for deer hunting, you know. And that's the main sole purpose why I have these guns, is for sporting use. So remember, if you like to go hunting, fishing, camping, shooting, hiking, whatever your outdoor pursuit happens to be, I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. But also remember this: hit that like button, smash that bell icon, and subscribe. That way you'll know when more videos like this one will be coming your way. So until next time, y'all get out there and enjoy the great outdoors and take good care of yourselves. I'll be seeing you.